What is up, everybody? Justin Millette, the Real Alaska Podcast, and I am here with Jen Motyka.
Nailed it.
Yeah. We practiced that a little bit because the first time I didn't do so well with the last name. But welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I guess tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, a little bit of background about you and kind of why you're here.
Yeah. Born Albuquerque, New Mexico. Was there very shortly. Didn't leave much of a mark. Moved to Michigan. Spent most of my childhood there.
Okay.
Went to the University of Michigan where I met my husband. He was born and raised in Alaska. We tried to do the West Coast thing in San Francisco.
Okay.
And that was rough right out of college. So we worked at Starbucks for a while.
All right.
Which, honestly, they were a great corporation to work for, taught really high standards, great customer service, etc. Benefits for part-time employees. You can't beat that.
I know.
So we did that for a while, and then eventually our path led back here. His mom said, hey, that place you were interning at is looking for a full-time engineer. 2 weeks later, we're on the ferry, and 17 years later, we're still here.
Awesome. That's kind of that Alaska vibe, man. It just pulls people back.
Yeah, I came to visit 2 years before we actually made the decision to move. First time I came to visit. And, driving down the Seward Highway on one of those bluebird, just gorgeous days. And I thought, man, I could live here. Yeah. And that's when the seed was planted. And so when it was like, hey, I've got this opportunity. You want to live in Alaska? I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet, man. I've lived in quite a few different places, have come and gone a few different times in my adult life. Always come back. Yeah. It's hard to find this kind of like the mountains and the ocean, the beauty anywhere else. It's just unparalleled. So anyway, so what do you do?
I'm a Jen of all trades. I do a little bit of everything.
I like that, Jen of all trades.
Jen of all trades. Yeah. I'm like a Swiss Army knife. I like to call myself a problem solver and community activator. But in reality, what do? I handle social media. I do event planning, a little business and political consulting. But yeah, problem solver.
Nice. And of course, we met through YPG.
Young Professionals Group at the Anchorage Chamber. Yes.
So, and then you are the owner of Blitz Marketing?
Blitz Promotions.
Blitz Promotions, sorry.
Yep.
So what does Blitz do?
All those things.
All those things?
It's me, myself, and I.
Okay. No, assistants anywhere, or just everything's just...
If you count my 9 and 11-year-old, sure. Yeah, I have assistants, but no. No, I mean, the great thing about this community is there's so much talent here, and there's so many other independent workers like me that, having been in this industry for so long, if I need a website developer, if I need, a certain piece of something, if I need somebody who's specializes in LinkedIn or whatever that piece may be, I have the resources, I have the connections to find that person. Right. But overall, it's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. So,
it is.
It's kind of a self-run business. Yep. It's lean and mean. Yeah,
make my own hours.
That is
take on the projects I want. Absolutely.
So, how'd you get into doing business consulting, media management, event promotion? What really brought you into that?
Yeah. Well, when I went to college, I thought I was going to be a doctor. And that didn't work out so well.
A little different.
And then for a while, I thought I'd be a lawyer, and that didn't work out so well. So I ended up leaving college with an English lit degree. Okay. So really, what do you do with that besides teach? I mean, really, for most people, they go on, they teach, which is great occupation, but I don't have the patience to teach. So when I moved up here, it was kind of like, what am I going to do? And my mother-in-law worked at a radio station at the time. Okay. And so my second day in Alaska, she pulled me into doing the phone. It was like a phone-a-thon for the children's hospital.
Phone making kind of thing?
Yeah. For one of the children's hospitals and through the radio station. Right. And one of her coworkers said, oh, so you're looking for a job? And I said, yeah, I just got up here. I'd love to find something. And she said, well, my ex-husband's hiring at the TV station. Maybe give him a call and see if he can make it work. So of course, Anchorage being big, small town,
Right.
Ended up using a connection and got a job there, and that started me in media.
Right.
So it was TV sales, so I learned
Okay.
about, all the things that happen in TV sales, and then moved on to radio. Actually, once I was done with TV, I was hired to be the first interactive media director in Alaska. So interactive media is a fancy,
what is that?
fancy way, old school way of
Right.
saying like the banner ads.
Oh, gotcha.
I was developing a whole, trying to find a market for banner ads.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, at the time, everyone's like, internet? Who goes on the internet?
Of course. Yeah.
Right? So it was like, no, we want to buy radio space. We want to be TV space, the traditional, and newspaper. Everybody had said print's dying, and we all know that's not true. They're still holding on. And but yeah, banner ads, and nobody bit. I mean, everyone was just like, what's the purpose? It's another space that nobody's going to look at.
Right.
So,
and now here we are.
Right. Right. I'd like in my heart of hearts to believe I might have paved the way in some of those minds to be open to digital space. But,
yeah.
And then I transitioned into radio for a while, and it was at that point I was ready to have a family, and it was really important for me to stay home with them and really nurture those beginning years. And so even though I wasn't in a traditional job, that's really where the entrepreneurial side started coming in.
Yeah.
I ran a small daycare, so my kids had playmates, and all my friends who kind of had these non-traditional jobs that weren't 9 to 5s, didn't want to have full-time daycare. Hey, drop your kid off for the afternoon, or maybe it's just 2 days a week, or whatever it is. I was there, and so I found a little niche and space that wasn't being catered to, and so I did that for a while, and the whole time I've always been doing marketing and helping friends out in that space, but then the event planning kind of came into play. My brother-in-law opened the 49th State Brewing Company in Anchorage.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the first time I went in there, I saw his event space, and I just went, gosh, I could do so much with this. My mind just was
It's a cool spot.
What can we do? What can we do? Right.
Yeah.
And another friend, her son needed a heart transplant. And so we were looking to do a fundraiser. And in my mind, I'm like, here's a problem. Here's how I'm going to solve it.
Right.
I had all these other friends who did, whether it was like stay-at-home type, like online businesses, network businesses, or they just didn't have brick and mortars.
Right.
So I'm like, well, here's this great space. Here's this need. Here's this problem. Let's solve it. So we did a vendor event, called it the Sip and Shop. This is before anyone else had dubbed Sip and Shop, at least in Anchorage that I know of. And so we had one, raised some money, and it was great. It was absolutely awesome. Did some silent auction, live auction type stuff. And then, all the vendors are like, well, when are you doing it again?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be like a one-off. I was just looking to help my friend and thought a little exposure for my brother-in-law, this great space, helps all these little businesses. And obviously, again, there was a little space that wasn't being catered to. And I think we did, maybe 8 to 10 other events, kind of cut and paste over different holidays with different nonprofits. And so going through that, I really realized a lot of these small businesses don't have the means to have a dedicated marketing person. They don't have someone who can help them with social media. And so I really started figuring out, well, how can I do that? How can I help them? So I did an Elevate conference. It was a small business sort of like, here's all the tools you need. If it's just you, if you're a solopreneur, here's all the tools you need. And so we did a couple of those, and those went great. And just kind of was doing that for a while, and it was fun. And then my kids got older, and I thought, okay, now it's time to do more, right? They don't need me. They're a little more independent. And then I was approached, so it's almost a year ago, maybe 18 months ago, I think. A couple years ago. Anyway, before the mayoral election. Time is such a weird thing post-pandemic. It's like, was it 2 years? Was it 5 years? I have no concept. But I was approached about helping with a mayoral race, and I had no political experience, but it was an opportunity, and I knew I was capable.
Right.
So I jumped into that, and that was an amazing experience. And then, it's just been from there, just people approaching me about different opportunities, helping them out. different projects. And so, I don't do a lot of seeking. People kind of find me, which has been great so far.
Yeah.
But up until the pandemic, I was still in plans to go back to school to be a physician's assistant. So marketing was not going to be my day job. This was like something I was doing to pay through school and helping friends out. And the pandemic hit, and I kind of went, I don't think I want to go into healthcare anymore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, healthcare got really hit.
Yeah, and I'd spent all this time working at, the Native Hospital, and I loved my experience there, but the focus was no longer patient care, and so I removed myself from that industry. And so the past 2 years have really been focused on my personal business development, just collecting the tools and skills so that I can better cater to my whoever pops in with a project here and there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've been up to. Yeah.
Man.
And how I got to here.
It's so funny because I've had quite a few people on the podcast, and it's just like you hear the stories and this roller coaster of just life happens.
Yes.
And so but everyone has like this idea of the trajectory of life and their career. And then all of a sudden you hear about everything that's happened and as it comes up, and it's just like, nope. Not such a straight line.
Nope.
Of course, kids and family.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Then your kids start growing older, makes you feel old.
Oh, we're not old. We're seasoned.
Yes, seasoned. Yes. So, also going from PA to marketing and event planning and all this stuff. Obviously, you did a phenomenal job with the Young Professional Summit.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
You and Sky nailed that out of the park for sure.
Thank you.
That was awesome. What's your favorite part of being an entrepreneur and kind of working in with like small business needs?
Telling their story. To me, the story is everything, and I think that goes back to that English Lit major.
Right.
I do still use that because I got to read all these amazing books and stories and learn about history, and I don't think people necessarily think about it, but we're writing history every day.
Yeah.
With everything that we do. So if I can take a business and tell that story, that to me is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we started this podcast.
Yeah.
Really, is everybody sees, especially with business, they see like the fame and the positives of owning a business, and these guys are doing so well, they're so successful, but they never really understand the behind the scenes and like the complete just drive and grit and failure that goes along with it. Of like, yeah, this is like my fourth business that I've started. The other three didn't work out so well, right? But there's a lot of learning attachment to that, and I think people don't realize how many hours you work as a business owner. That's great that you can set your own schedule. However, I'm still working like 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, honestly, my schedule's just shifted. I don't work a 9 to 5, but I work, a bulk of my technical stuff, my computer stuff is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Right.
Because my kids go to bed, the house is quiet, I can focus.
Right.
So that's not for everyone.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
late nights.
Yes.
And sometimes that 2 a.m. gets pushed to 4 or whatever, depending on deadlines. So, I don't have to get up necessarily every morning, but I definitely work late.
Yes. Yeah. It's nice having the flexibility, but, you are like, it's like assignment and a job based, right? So I just have to get this task done, period. No matter if I'm going to take a week to do it or I'm going to take 8 hours to do it. That's all 100% on me.
Yep.
I'm not just stuck in a chair this time to this time.
Yep.
Right. As far as like the event planning and social media and like, is there like a certain aspect of all that you like more than another part? Like what's your within all those niches, like what's your favorite that you like to go to?
Oh gosh. I think I like the team aspect of events because even though I'm a solo person,
right.
Any event that I do, I have a team because there's just no way I could put it on all by myself.
Right.
And so there's a certain energy that I like with events. I love the marketing and all that, but you don't for me, because I'm not a dedicated one business marketing person, I don't always see the continued fruits of that labor. If we're talking, lifetime of a customer or anything like that, I kind of pop in, maybe help with a plan, show them how to execute it, and then fade into the darkness. Yeah. But with events, I'm usually there from inception to finale, and so I get to really help direct and create that, and I love that.
Yeah. It is nice to kind of see, obviously, why we do what we do is to, and of course, people in general just love to see results, right? People are so results driven, right? So I could, with social media marketing, it's not, and with brand promotion, you don't really, the results are harder to define.
Yep.
Where, like an event,
pretty
definitive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Instant feedback.
Yeah, 100%. Matter of fact, it's like feedback and tweaking as things are going on.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
So you do get like kind of that gratification of seeing your labors come to fruition, right? And you're like, oh, some lessons learned from this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, going to do it on this one, right? So I completely understand that because we deal with the same thing here with our marketing stuff. Is some of it not nearly as defined, more of a long-term, like, okay, hopefully we receive some benefit to this.
Yep.
Some of it's very like instantaneous.
Yeah.
And so I totally get that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What's on the horizon?
Oh gosh, so much opportunity. I just got my real estate license.
Yes,
actually.
congratulations.
Yes, so that kind of dropped. That opportunity dropped into my lap. So I'm going to go pursue some commercial real estate and see how that goes. See if I like it. Pretty excited about that. But that and a big move. We're moving houses. So having gone through the whole craziness that is the real estate market. And I actually just got my inspection report, and so now we're trying to deal with all that. And yeah, that's such a roller coaster. So there's that work and then the life. Right. And trying to make them all happen at the same time.
Sync.
Right? Yeah.
I know. Yes, everybody talks about that work-life balance.
Yeah, there's no balance.
Like, it's so impossible.
No, I described it to someone that it was like, I saw this great thing about juggling bottles, and some are plastic and some are glass. Right. The plastic you can drop. Right. The glass ones you can't, right? Because they'll break. So you got to prioritize those glass ones. But you're trying to juggle them all if you can. Right. So I just thought, like, that's such a great analogy because it's so true. Right.
I haven't heard that one. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can drop the plastic bottles.
I'm going to have to use that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, seriously. So real estate license, are you going to continue the marketing stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
New websites coming out?
Yeah.
Soon? I got a brief preview.
I do have a website that's going to launch soon. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Justin Williams, who did it for me. He was amazing. I mean, I figured it was time to have a grown-up business, and a grown-up business probably needs a website.
Yeah.
So that's coming soon. That's very exciting.
Now you need like a virtual space, like a meta space.
Yes, I know. I might have to find somebody like Justin who knows about that.
Yeah. I delegate some of that to one of my agents who specializes more in that.
There you go. Yep. So we can only be experts in so much.
Really. Yeah. As a business owner, man, sometimes you just get too many hats.
Yep.
And then you start to realize like, oh man, my production's really starting to decrease because I'm just trying to do too much. Yeah, which is where you come in.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Hey, I'm happy to take over your family and social media stuff.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, that's why I have Mike.
Yes.
So shout out to Mike. Yeah, it's just, that's one of the biggest things I had learned in my entrepreneurship is just, I try to do it all and then realized I can, just not very effectively.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I had to become kind of project-based, instead of like taking on long-term clients. Because as much as I would love to be part of that entire journey, I can't do that well for them and also cater to, all these other things going on. So, and in addition to all that, I do a lot of, nonprofit volunteer stuff.
Right.
And that is really important to me. So if I'm too busy in one aspect, then you're right, I'm not doing any of them well.
Yeah. So with kind of, since you're kind of project based, right? And not so much long term. I mean, what do you do with the social media management? Is just kind of like setting up ads? Is it just like setting up kind of like a branding, logo design?
Depends. As far as the graphic design stuff, I keep that minimally. I outsource that. So I'm happy to loan my eye to that. I think I have a pretty good artistic eye. I can Canva like nobody's business, but
Canva's
if somebody,
so awesome.
But if somebody really needs something specialized, I outsource the graphics 100%.
As far as like promotional stuff, like social media wise, is that just
it depends on the business that I'm doing it with. So, think of like a case study. Had a little spa, right? They were trying to expand. They just couldn't handle their social media, right? Because that's not their thing. They're an esthetician. They're trying to do what they were taught and what they have certifications in, and that's not social media.
Right.
So we came together and kind of created like a 3-month plan.
Nice.
So a lot of times what I'll do with clients is like, let's do this for 3 months and make sure that this relationship works out. Right, because going through the process, sometimes you get burnt. You get in with a client and you just don't vibe with them. Doesn't work out. Communication's not there. Expectations aren't being met, and it's a miserable experience for both people. And it's not worth it. Like the money isn't worth it if it's to be miserable. To me, that's just where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
And so I like to go in, let's do 3 months. Let's see how it works. If you feel like it's gaining traction or you're happy with how things are going, then we talk more long term. But a 3-month plan is pretty easy to come up with, pinpointing certain events that are upcoming, whether it's national events, federal events, or if it's just specific to them, if they have promotions going on or whatever, then you can build pretty easily around that. And so I have options. I can either execute the whole thing for them or I can just hand them the plan as well and say, here's all the elements, you run it. They might have a receptionist or something who can handle that piece. They may just not have the depth of knowledge for the actual plan.
Yeah. I think as new business owners or businesses realize as they want to like build their brand and get more into social media, how much of a time commitment that it is. Any campaign that I've ever run, it's a lot of time because there is research that goes into it. I don't think people realize how much it takes to create some of those marketing pieces. And the strategy behind it. So it's timing, it's the aesthetic of it. It's finding, where the fish are. I always like to say fish where the fish are. So you got to find where your audience is. And so, there's a lot that goes into it that they shouldn't have to take the time to do that. Right.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest things that I pulled off my plate. Like early on was social media management. I'm like, man, this is taking like 3 hours of my day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I want to try and plan everything, and of course I'm not great at Canva. There's only so much I'm good at. A lot of it's investing and then teaching and, building a team and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Social media is definitely, I'm good at it because I've had to be good early on, but that's not where I want to contribute my time.
Right.
So, we ended up hiring a social media management team, and
there you go.
Mike helps with that, and so. That was one of the biggest things. And then, of course, having an assistant or someone to, delegate stuff to is kind of important too. So, but so real estate, commercial real estate, still continue with the Blitz.
Yeah.
And are you going to try and mesh those two together, or kind of keep them separate, or?
Yeah, we'll see. There's definitely going to be some integration. We'll see the extent of what that looks like once I really get into the job.
Yeah. When do you start?
Thursday.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations.
So 2 days before my first real day. So, I mean, I'll know more as I get into it. But, like I said, I'm kind of a Swiss Army knife. So whatever they need me for, I'm there.
Yeah. So volunteer time.
Yes.
Obviously, that's how we met, was just through YPG and the Anchors Chamber. What else do you do for like nonprofits and volunteer work?
Oh goodness. Okay, this is how long of a podcast?
I know, right? But I know you're super community oriented, and
I am, and a lot of people are like, "Well, why you don't get paid?" And
it's not about being.
They
paid
talk
sometimes.
about awards and stuff, and it's like it's not for any of that. When I made the decision to live here, and more importantly, when I made the decision to have children here. I wanted this to be the best community that they could grow into.
Right.
And I grew up, my grandfather was part of the Lions Club. I remember at like 7 years old serving pancake breakfast at like the Maple Syrup Festival in, small farm town, Michigan. And then my dad was heavily involved. He was on the school board. So that like servant heart has always been there. But really, once we landed here, had the kids, they were a little bit older. I said, okay, I can give that time again.
Yeah.
And so I'm super involved with the young professionals group at the chamber. That's my anchor. I love them, adore them. And then I'm also a part of the auxiliary at the Legion, Jack Henry Post 1. I also do mentorship with the Alaska Women's Power League of Alaska. Nice. What are the other ones? On the Alaska World Affairs Council board, they're phenomenal. I do corporate development. I'm the chair for that committee. So helping them get more funds to continue the programs that they do. Part of Next Gen. So Next Gen is a subset of CACA, which is the Korean American Community Association.
Okay.
And so Next Gen it's not just limited to Koreans, but it's really about that next generation. So if your parent immigrated to America, sometimes there's a cultural gap or like for me, my mom came over and she was like, I'm now a part of Western civilization, the United States. Like, I'm going to speak English. I'm going to eat the Western food, all the things she really assimilated. And I didn't get to learn Korean. I didn't we ate maybe a little bit of foods, but culture-wise, I was very isolated from that. So as I get older and have my own kids, I want them to have some sort of understanding and knowledge about their ancestry and heritage. Right. So Next Gen has been a great group for me to connect with and learn more about my culture and kind of the differences in the generations and how we view things. So that's been a really great one to get involved with. And I'm sure there's others. I'm sure I'm involved in more. I just
can't remember off the top of your head. You're like, that's it. Everybody's just like, well, I'm only involved in like one.
You know what? But the thing is, like, some of those are quarterly meetings.
Right.
Some are, it's like as far as time, it's not necessarily a lot of effort. But if I can lend my voice and leadership somewhere to a group that maybe needs direction or needs amplification to let the community know they're there, then I'm absolutely happy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. The YPG, obviously we're fairly new too, right, in the Anchor Chamber, but we've had a pretty awesome experience so far and look forward to our continued growth and contribution to all that.
Good. So, we love seeing you there.
Yeah. It's been a blast, man. I've enjoyed meeting everybody and being part of it. So
it's a great group. It's the doers. I like to think I found my home because it's it's like when you work on a school project or anyone who's been involved in nonprofits, it's the 80-20 rule. 20% do 80% of the work.
Right.
But in this case, this group, it's more like 80% do all the work. We really split it up. And even for Summit, it was 100% of my team showed up and just... There were fires I didn't even know because they just took action, took care of it, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah, seriously. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And, of course, many hands make light work,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So that's essential, and it's nice being part of groups like that where the contribution level is so high.
So rare.
It is. Yeah. Well, let's see. So we covered kind of who you are, where you're from.
Yeah.
We're in Michigan, Detroit.
Should I bust out the hand right in the middle?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle-ish. Right outside of Kalamazoo, a little place called Gull Lake.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a great place to grow up. I played basketball, softball, ran track.
Nice.
Student government. Again, I did all the things. Volunteer work.
So that's where this is coming from.
Yeah. I grew up with a tiger mama, so it was like do all the things and do them great.
Yeah. How about free time? Like family time?
What's that?
I know. Oh, dude, I know.
No, free time.
Call me out.
I do prioritize me time. I absolutely prioritize me time because, I can't pour, from my cup if it's empty.
Right.
So, in my free time, I love my husband and I do yoga together sometimes.
That's fun.
Gosh, we haven't done that in a while. We've been extra busy lately.
Right.
But I like to get out with the kids and just adventure and friends, people that I love, just spending time with them. We're getting into like camping season and I call it griddle season because we have this great big like hibachi griddle.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's like, it's time. It's time.
Yeah, I just shared I got my first mosquito kill the other day.
Oh, I know. It broke my heart. No, it's not time yet.
I know.
But it is.
It's like, dang it, man. It's that, like, spot in between, start in the spring, beginning of summer.
Yep.
You're like, everything still looks dead.
Yeah.
But you're like, man,
it's the worst. It's so ugly.
I know. It
Although,
is.
looking out your window, I see a few tree buds. So
it's starting to bloom.
They're coming.
I know.
My allergies say they're here.
Yeah, but that also means mosquitoes are en route.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Any fun plans for the summer? Besides camping, or you guys got some fishing trips planned?
The moving is the big thing,
but
we do this great there's a little music festival, July, I believe, 7th, 8th, 9th. I'm not looking at a calendar, but that weekend, there's a music festival down in the Kenai, Rockin' the Raven Ranch, and it is so fun. It's on a farm. There's a little stage. They bring in some great local talent. And it's adorable because there's like a horse and a pig and a bunch of birds and then Danger Money's performing on stage. Like,
interesting.
It's so fun and it's so cool. And we all there's a big group of us. We go down. We set up this like tent town on the farmland and just have a great weekend.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing I'm looking forward to. Other than that, lots of camping, settling into the house, work. Yeah. Hopefully less work, but
oh man, yeah. It's been hopefully we have a decent summer after this kind of like long, extensive, snowy winter.
Yeah.
I'm jonesing for a good summer.
Yeah. So, lots of sun.
I know. We'll see. Because, Alaska always likes to surprise you.
Yeah. We'll get our handful of days.
I know.
And it makes the whole year worth it.
It does.
Because they're 24 hours. So
I'm like, man, Alaskans are so funny because they're just like yearly pessimists. They get in the summer and they're like, man, it's so hot. I can't wait for the snow.
Oh, gosh.
And then it's the snowfall hits and they're shoveling the driveway like,
it's so cool.
I can't wait for summer. This snow sucks. I'm like, man, 2 months ago you were totally saying you were ready for winter. But that's just kind of the standard cycle.
Yeah.
And the dark kids and we're like, oh man, where's that Hawaii flight?
Yeah. Yes. We did that this year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where'd you guys go?
It was great. We went to the Big Island.
Okay.
Had a great little condo, like steps from the beach. So we didn't make any big plans. We didn't book anything. We just needed time and sunshine and some waves. And we had a great time. Yeah. We did take the kids to one of those rage rooms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How fun was that?
Oh, my gosh. My husband and I didn't even do it. We just let the kids rally, and they had a blast.
That sounds amazing.
Absolute blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Alaskans are very known for the winter months going to Hawaii.
Yep.
Because we have a 6-hour direct flight.
Yep.
So it's...
that's our getaway.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And you go to Hawaii and you see all your friends.
Yeah, it's so true.
I had no idea you were coming.
Yeah, we absolutely did. Yeah. Hey, I didn't realize you were in Hawaii too. Where are you at? Oh, down the road.
Yeah, then you're like, oh, by the way, so-and-so is also here. We should all get together one night. And then next thing you know, you got a dinner party of like 15 people. You're like... It's like, I had no idea you were all here. I'm like, we didn't either. Let's plan a trip next time.
Right.
And then that never happens.
No.
But then you see him the next year, right? Or like 3 or 4 months later. So
next winter.
Yeah. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, gosh. All the groups that I'm involved with. My husband, my kiddos, I don't know. Shout out to.
Yeah. Anybody influential?
Ooh. I was just talking to someone about this, about how I never had like a business mentor.
Yeah.
I never had a mentor. And so I do mentorship to provide that to others because I think about like, wow, I I do pretty good for myself. But like, imagine if I had someone that was kind of giving me advice or, you know, I mean, my husband, he's my ride or die. He's the one I go to for all my advice and all that. But someone in the industry, it would have been really nice for like specific questions that I had been facing or specific decisions along the road. I don't know. I'm kind of a lone wolf when it comes to that.
Just learn it as you go.
Yeah. Success and failure. That's what our keynote at Summit was all about. You know, it's like you just try the things, you do them, you fail miserably, and then you do better the next time.
I know.
Yeah.
It's all about getting back up.
Yeah.
Seriously. Where can people find you?
Everywhere. No. They can come find me on Facebook, Blitz Promotions. That's the easiest way. Website should be up soon, but it's not quite there. The perfectionist in me and trying to integrate the whole commercial thing and how that's going to look. So that's still on a hold. But yeah, Facebook, they can come find me for sure.
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, nothing like that yet?
I'm on all the things.
All the things?
Facebook's the easiest.
Okay. I've asked this the last few times. Is if you got 5 pieces of wisdom to give to an entrepreneur, someone starting out, what would you give?
5.
Yeah.
Don't do it? No. No. Fail a lot. Because that's how you learn. It is a great one.
Yeah.
You are going to find support in spaces you didn't realize, and you will find non-support in places you thought for sure would be there for you.
That is very true. Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, don't get discouraged when people really close to you say, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't know. You know, maybe they're too close to the situation. You're going to have a fan club that you don't even know exists.
This is true.
Which is really cool. So that's 2. Let's see.
Put you on the spot.
No, I love it. It's a great question. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts, but verify, right? So, like, your gut's going to tell you to go one way, but it's always good to maybe chat it out or do a little research or something to verify that, you know, you're not totally crazy. Because a lot of times ideas, you know, I think genius really does walk that line of insanity. And some ideas are going to sound so grandiose and crazy that no one's going to believe in you, but should you do it anyway? Yeah, if there's a market for it, if there's a need. Yeah, absolutely.
Look at Elon.
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Put a damn electric car into space.
Right, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Maybe that's number 4, is that you can do anything. With the right people behind you, with the right ideas, with the right amount of money, you can literally do anything.
Yep.
And then 5, take care of yourself. Because again, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're emotionally over it, if you're burnt out, then nothing gets done.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing gets done. So, you know, it's when you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, you're it.
Yeah.
And everyone looks to you. So take care of yourself.
No, those are awesome 5. Awesome 5. I agree with all of them. I was
been doing this for a minute.
I've been there. All of those.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, awesome. We really appreciate you coming on, sharing your story. Super happy you came on. Yay. Of course, we'll see you at YPG.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Jen.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, guys.